Welcome, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Greatness Engineering Hour show, the show where I bring you champion people who have a particular story or a particular knowledge to share. Experience, they come and share their expertise, they come and share, their inspiration, because that's what, the show wants as well. Bring this inspiration so that everything that they bring in this platform can build you up and help you to go to the next level of your greatness. And today I have such a champion. So you will enjoy this session. You will enjoy the conversation because there's going to be a lot of wisdom. There's going to be a lot of expertise. There's going to be a lot of inspiration. And I'm not doing this alone because my guest is also a mentor, but I just want to prepare you to get ready. So have your pen and paper ready. Have your, make sure if you're watching live to participate. If you have a question, if you want to be part of, to take part in the conversation, please do so. So as you know, my name is Mireille Tulekima. I'm tuning in from Perth, Australia, and I'm called the Greatness Engineer. So for those who've been today, my guest is coming from India, and as I said, Abraham has been a mentor to me for a few years, and the value that it brought to to what I do is just amazing. Even this show, he was one of the first guests on this show, and he's been helping behind the scene. But those are the things that you don't see, but that I benefit from. So who is Abraham? Abraham is a global influencer, he's a mentor, and a connector. He's about network, and he gives his time and expertise just because he has a big heart. And I think if you get to know him, for those who are going to discover him today, you will get the opportunity to connect with him. You will discover and really experience what I'm talking about. So today we're gonna talk about what is being doing, the best in so far is global influencing within, niches. And what we're gonna talk about today is how global influencing and how you can build your niche and how all of this connects. So make sure that you participate, like I said, and make sure that you are also asking questions, because it's important that you leave this platform empowered. You leave this platform, with a knowledge that you've not bring in when we started. So let me bring Abraham now. But before, we're gonna play some music, and then we can start this what I anticipated to be an insightful, informative, and inspiring session. So don't go anywhere. Let us know where you're watching from, and we will be able to have an inspiring conversation with Abraham, and also make sure that people who are going to watch this later get something that they can build on. So don't go anywhere. We are starting now. Welcome to another episode of the Greatness Engineering Hour show, the show that is brought to you by the Vatakencherry Global Leadership Organization.
Real is important is if you just look at the word compassion, when it's behavior, it's something that can be learned, and it is something that we can embody through habits and through our daily actions.
To get this idea that if we interject this wisdom intentionally, I call them needle movers. It's the needle mover that's missing.
Don't deprive the world of your greatness. Please. Don't do that anymore. Dare to excel, dare to be sexy, dare to be you. dare to be the best version of yourself, impact yourself positively, and from there impact others. And you are not alone.
So welcome, Abraham. Welcome to the
Thank
Great
you.
Engineering Hour show. I'm so happy to have you back. You know, I was mentioning the fact that you were one of my
Initial.
first guests 3 years ago on the Greatness Engineering Hour show. It's such a pleasure to have you back and learn from you because, as I was mentioning as introduction, I've learned so much from you, and I continue to learn so much from you. And the support that you've given to the show as well is amazing. So before we, start, the conversation about, global influencing and how it connects with building a niche, just want you, if you want to add something on the introduction that I've done to you. Is that something that I miss out? Is that something that you want people to take on, and then we can start the conversation?
Basically, you want me to say how I got into this particular.
Yes, basically, yeah.
Okay.
Ask you, how you've traveled and how you actually end up being the global influencer that we know that you are right now.
Okay. Actually, when I to tell a bit about my upbringing, I was born and brought up as a taught till middle school. I studied in Mumbai in India, and then I my father opted for a job in Cochin, and I came down to Cochin and I completed my schooling, high school and all that. Then I did my post graduation in English, and thereafter I came again to Maharashtra in India and completed my MBA in marketing and personnel. And the thing is, after that, I got into a job which was connected very much into prosthetic and orthotic engineering, where I was in the product department. And because of my prowess in English and my background in literature, I was pumped into the pamphlet designing and all that stuff. And that gave me a real pep to really, do things in various departments and getting honing my skills in various uh, departments, and then going on, I got a job in which was connected to healthcare, fitness equipment marketing, high-end fitness equipment marketing, and that is where the bug of the global influencing thing came in, because the fitness equipment marketing was something which was connected to which was open to any vertical, and we could meet any people, any person from various segments, which we never had any defined segment. I could go to any segment and market my stuff. And since it was a high end, it was pretty expensive. And I could, for decision making and all that, I had to meet the top people, right, from the corporate honchos, the politicians, the film stars, the various other people, that from various other segments where I could show my prowess. and that gave me a lot of character analysis with a lot of people, and a lot of things we could do in the perspectives what we were thinking of. And that was a real pointer for me to get into global influencing, which I'm doing now, to various great to a very great extent, to various countries, not just to personnel, but to various countries, and trying to make a niche mark over there. Yeah, so that is what how I got into this. But in between, I had when I started off after resigning from the company in the fitness equipment arena, I was there. I dabbled in a few other segments which are pertaining to education, foreign education, and, immigration, and then even business consulting and all that. But I became full fledged over the last, I would say, around 4 or 5 years, and it is now really, reaping dividends, and it has really come up with a very good scenario for me in terms of reaching out to people and the people accepting us. Reaching out is one, accepting is another, because we have already, I could imbibe a lot of knowledge from various people whom I were meeting, and the influencing came in various segments. Like, for instance, you could take travel, fashion, lifestyle. These were all connected to things like fitness. So, sports, food, beauty, skincare, then things like even gaming and movies and TV, tech, career coaching, fitness, which was already there, and then even financial services and so on. These are certain segments which I've touched upon. If you see from my and LinkedIn, thanks to LinkedIn, LinkedIn has really blossomed on my horizon to a different level together. And uh, from a couple of thousands just a few years back, it's almost touching 20,000 now. Uh,
Wow.
and very good connects. And all people, most of them, the interesting part is that all are acknowledging, whatever we are doing, and I'm really putting my heart and soul into it to enhance it further and see to it that we make a global footprint in the various arenas what I'm venturing into. So this is in a nutshell of what I have done till
Yeah.
now in terms of the niche global influencing.
And it is impressive because it is a competitive world, and that's one of the questions that I have for you, is that how can someone actually become a global influencer in such a very crowded and also very competitive world? Because
So what a person has to do is
it's not
basically
I think not. Mhm.
what a person has to do basically is to find a niche area. Everyone is not equipped for all areas. They have to find a niche area and choose the medium, the social handle in which they can really propagate themselves. Some people use it for, I'm more of a social influencer than any other, and that is, spiraling into other areas of business consulting, of merchandising, and connecting people, connecting the dots to know whether certain projects can really materialize. So here we are also developing a lot of things like content strategy and all that stuff, and also we are coming up with latching on to certain chambers to enhance our customer base, because I, as an individual, I have to latch on to certain chambers to increase my customer base. I was connected to SME Chamber of India uh, in Mumbai, and the Indian Importers Chamber of Commerce and Industry, which is based out of Hoskas in New Delhi. So these two chambers have given me a lot of inroads to how to reach out to people. So that also has given me other thing, and moreover, we also had very receptive audience when we give when we gather a lot of because the internet is flushed with knowledge.
Yeah, the
When
internet
we
is a bit.
give
it, yeah. Mhm.
The network what we have has really enhanced our upbringings.
Mhm. Mhm.
And
Mhm.
another thing is you become very opinionated also, getting a lot of
Mhm.
knowledge from here and there. That has also enhanced
Mhm.
it. Then engaging with a very good target audience, which is specific for a
Mhm.
specific area, and that also could really enhance our potential. Then things like evaluating ourselves in the race for
Mhm.
progress, that also is there.
Mhm.
So there are a lot of things are there. So a person who has got a prowess in particular areas do well in various things.
Mhm. 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 So there's quite a lot. So apparently it is,
But
go ahead, Abraham. Okay, it looks like we lost Abraham. So what I'm going to do is go for commercial, and then we'll get back we'll get back with Abraham when the internet allows. So don't go anywhere. Make sure you participate. Make sure you get to give your opinion and also ask questions because Abraham has a lot of knowledge, a lot of experience, and it will be a shame not to learn from him. So don't go anywhere. I will be back in a few minutes. So Abraham is back with us. So sorry for the
My apologies. There's some problem with the internet as
technical
such.
issue. So the floor is yours. I think we lost a little bit of the last thing that you
No, no.
mentioned.
What I was saying is there are a lot of scope in if you have a chosen area.
Mm-hmm,
Everyone is not adept in everything, so they have to choose an area where they're going to
mm-hmm,
influence, and it has that vertical has to be very clear for a person to really imbibe knowledge and pass it on to the people whom they want as targets. The
mm-hmm,
target
mm-hmm,
audience has to be very clear in that. That only can be proved if they have expertise in a given area. That is, given area is the first thing, and then they have to choose the
mm-hmm,
handle, social handle in which they are going to
mm-hmm,
really thrust themselves forward for connecting.
mm-hmm,
Then they can go for things like developing. If they going by an individual way, what I am doing is I'm latching on to chambers, but individual can go by a website and then
mm-hmm,
propagate it. But that will take time. Nothing is built in a
mm-hmm.
day. It will take time. Even I took time to really build a real
Yeah.
big network. Since I told you that
Mm-hmm,
it was just a couple of thousands earlier, now it has become touching almost
mm-hmm,
20,000, which with a lot of
mm-hmm,
effort it is coming. So that is the thing. So
mm-hmm,
I think
mm-hmm,
we have
mm-hmm,
to really focus on areas. We have to be really highly opinionated in that given area. Then thrust those things into the people, see how their
mm-hmm,
acceptance is, and then go
mm-hmm.
forward. This is how
Yeah.
I look at it. That's
You know,
the
a lot
in
of.
a and constant updation is required. They have to use all the
Mhm,
handles, everything, and see if they can, eyes and ears have to be always open, because the updation happens at the flick of a page.
mhm,
So a lot of things happen, and a lot of things, which are learning and relearning and all that, unlearning, everything has to happen, and then only things
mhm,
can move forward. Because if
mhm.
things because of this disruptive technology and all that, a lot of things are changing, and they have to keep a
Yeah,
tab
yeah, yeah. And
on.
that's, I was, yeah. And that's another difficulty that people have. Things are changing all the time, so you always have to be on your game,
A constant
and
updation.
whatever. Yeah, so you have to be constantly running, constantly, be open to new things, and not just, think that it all. So you have to be a long term, long term learners, and sometimes people forget that is that learning, it's all the time. You learn all the time from
Correct, correct, you're right.
different people, and especially if you want to become a global influencer, you have to have this open mind
Hmm.
to accept, knowledge from other people,
Hmm.
but also to ask, things that you don't know, and
You
be
should be like a
humble enough
funnel,
to.
ready to
Mhm,
accept
mhm,
things, and
mhm,
then it
mhm,
goes sunk into your
mhm,
brain, and that is
mhm,
what you emanate and tell people.
but I mean, it is like you said, it doesn't happen overnight. It is a lot of work, and that's why my question is, how what are the key opportunities? Because people want to do something, they want to look at, what are the opportunity for me. So what are the opportunity, and also the challenges associated to going global? Because right now we are told to go global, but there are probably opportunities, but also challenges. So what do you think are those opportunities and challenges?
The main challenge here is the acceptance of the client. The
Mm-hmm,
main challenge here is the acceptance of the client, and for
mm-hmm,
that there are various parameters which you have to adhere to. Like a thing like, that person should at first place like you first.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
It is a bit personalized. We are not doing cutthroat business alone, because when you influence, you're influencing a person's decision,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
and you're influencing his mindset. So there are a lot of things like likability. You should have the passion, should be shown very visible to him. Then things like how you are going to engage with that
mm-hmm,
particular person. Then how authentic are you in your information?
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Then how is your mindset for cutthroat marketing? Because it is a dog eat dog world, and it's a rat
mm-hmm,
race to
mm-hmm,
reach the top. So we need the marketing philosophy and all that in apple pie order, so that the person whom we are interacting with is fully
mm-hmm,
convinced that this person can do something for us in global
mm-hmm,
influencing. Then you have
mm-hmm.
the authenticity, then you have the popularity. They will see
Yeah.
how many people are and latching on to him for expertise. You have to be, in fact, a treasure trove of knowledge,
Mm-hmm, 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 mm-hmm. Yeah.
knowledge and
So,
acceptance.
mhm.
Then you
So
have to.
which come down to also be aware of the people that you have around you, isn't it?
Correct. They
Mm-hmm,
look at every aspect of it nowadays. With a flick of a coin, with a flick of a button, they can find out everything. So
mm-hmm,
when you have a project, there are various elements to a project. Like for
mm-hmm,
instance, if it is a civil engineering project, it might look like civil engineering from outside, but there are electrical
mm-hmm,
element, mechanical element, electronic element if they have to do some signaling and all that stuff. So
mm-hmm,
all expertise within the expertise also have to be found out. And we
mm-hmm,
are the people who are going to connect the dots and tell that we are going to work like a consortium, and this is going to be the deliverables.
mm-hmm,
So,
mm-hmm,
so that is another bigger challenge. So for that, reaching out to people and connecting the dots, that is what
mm-hmm,
people like us do. And if you
mm-hmm,
see, the knowledge also has to be enhanced. Tech knowledge, the knowledge in every sphere, what we are talking of, we have to be also creative. The person should accept us as a total package. He should
mm-hmm,
accept us
mm-hmm,
as a total package. And these are the things, our presence within the platform, everything is to be, yeah, these are very good points which I would like to, and they should feel confident by entrusting this person, I can do something. And this person has got the expertise, which is a requisite point of enhancing a particular project and completing that particular thing with near flawless way. The correct expertise at the right points. So these are
Yeah.
what the global influencers do, which I think it is visible to all. That is why people are coming to people like us.
And the connecting the dot is very important, because
Very important.
you can have different people, different skilled people, different knowledge,
Mm.
but if you don't connect,
Correct.
knowledge doesn't, it doesn't serve anybody, it doesn't serve
And
a
it doesn't serve
purpose.
any purpose. And
Hmm.
if we work as a consortium with all these
Hmm.
expertise, the people of expertise of various verticals, we can be a, thumping winner in
Hmm. Hmm.
clinching the project.
so
This is
so
one.
Mhm. So
Please go
one
ahead.
question that I have, because you mentioned that we have to be skills in a niche, but what we've
Mm.
seen so far with what happened with especially with the pandemic, especially business people were in a niche and then they lost their businesses. So do you think that we should actually not just follow one niche and have
No,
different
not
options?
follow what. You're right. You're
Mhm,
100%.
mhm, mhm,
When the whole the whole world was put a very grinding halt
mhm,
in
mhm,
various countries, which people were involved in various projects of
mhm,
repute. They had to all shut down, most of them, and it became a virtual world. It gave rise to, it
mhm,
gave birth to a big virtual world. The people in the
mhm,
virtual world made big money out of it. Their share
mhm,
values escalated and all that. But there was a paradigm shift from, like, for instance, I'll tell you, finance to be raised by a big company. They
mhm,
always did due diligence physically. That
mhm,
came into the virtual space. Teaching, in a very big way, became blended when the things calmed down, but in the most severe case, it was fully virtual. So all the things had to
mhm,
evolve. We had to bring in a new thought and understanding to various structures which were already there, which had to be mended to the tune
mhm,
of what the pandemic had set in.
mhm,
So
mhm,
the
mhm,
whole virtual world really blossomed, but
mhm.
certain handicaps were there, which was inevitable because we couldn't
Yeah.
do anything. A lot of people had lost jobs and all that. But those who could switch, the IT sector, a lot of people, had the work from home option. Whereas in the manufacturing sector, there was a big shutdown. The
Mhm, mhm,
hospitality
mhm,
sector, total shutdown. Uh, Airlines, totally finished. At least for that, there was a momentary lapse. Then,
mhm,
yes, slowly now it is picking up off late. After, say, a
mhm,
couple of we were all down and out. There were a lot of people who were, a lot of mental illnesses crept up. A lot of people lost jobs. A lot of people were not able to perform.
mhm,
To,
mhm,
and a lot of other avenues sprung up, like mental wellness, and physical wellness went for a toss, and the mental wellness picked up. So there is, when one dies, another person laughs.
mhm, mhm, mhm,
So
mhm.
it
Yeah.
was one area's loss, one industry's loss was another person's gain. It was a balance like
Mhm.
this.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
we have no other option. There are certain things are inevitable. We have to face the music, no other way.
Hmm. And that's part of globalization. And I just want to say hi to one of the someone in the audience here is Ritika.
Mm.
Ritika is appreciating.
Ritika
So
Vasu.
yeah, lots of golden nuggets to be taken. Yes, definitely. Thanks for Ritika for your comment. And there's more to come. And I like the fact that you said, we have to, yes, we have to follow a niche, but we have to be ready to be flexible, because if
Yes,
something happen, we can switch. We can switch to another niche, and
we have to explore
go
ourselves.
where the
Yeah,
opportunity may
basically we
show,
have to explore
at
ourselves,
a special
and we have to
time.
find the second route of calling in us. That is the only way. There's no other option, because we are all confined to four walls, and all are now. Thank God things are picking up slightly, but we don't know. Every other day something on the other is coming up in the somewhere one corner of the world. That spreads like wildfire also, so we have to be very careful. And but the world moves on, there's no other way.
Yeah, and which
But,
mean the mobile, because
hmm,
your knowledge, it's not static. It has to be,
it has to
it's
be
dynamic.
sharpened. You have to hone your
Even
skills.
your, yeah, and your purpose, can change as well. So it's dynamic. It's not static. So it is important that people understand that, especially as they want to influence other people, and become global influencer like yourself.
Correct.
Mhm. So I mean, just to come back to the title of the the show today, how do you think global influencing and building up the niche connects? I know you've already given few, few tips and few strategies and tools, around that. But how do you want to add something that can,
Yes,
that
I
we
want to add.
miss?
I was about to
Okay.
say that.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
The first and foremost thing is we should be more of a giver than a taker. That is a
mm-hmm,
very cardinal point I would like to put, and that should be at the your that point should be in the van. And second thing is the charisma what you bring along with that. Then things like communication has to be to the optimum. It has to be world
mm-hmm,
class. You have to understand what are the cultures of various people, and you have to behave accordingly. You have to look at what is the segment and behave accordingly.
mm-hmm,
Various sectors are there. One manufacturing sector and a fashion sector, it will be totally different. Your approach has to be totally different. Or
mm-hmm,
for instance, the sports sector and an aviation sector, it has to be totally different, like that. I'm just giving examples. And you have to really be confident.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Confidence, the communication in a very optimum level, then the charisma, then things like the giver attitude. The
mm-hmm,
ratio has to be very very high
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
when
mm-hmm.
compared to the taking attitude. So if your
Yeah.
ratio is 70% of giving, you have to only take 30.
Mm-hmm,
Then your thing really explodes in terms of the numbers going to a very different level altogether. Then
mm-hmm,
basically you have to humbly listen. All of the humility is a big factor here. Empathy is a big factor to understand the
mm-hmm,
people, how they can be evolved. Certain people are down and out. We have to suggest them certain other
mm-hmm,
solutions which are feasible in the next 6 months. Now all these long short things have gone for a
mm-hmm,
toss. I will, building castles in the air and all have come down to ground zero.
mm-hmm,
And, the positive, what type of positive contribution you can give to the world.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
That is
mm-hmm,
one other side. The humility factor is there. Then you have to be a very, very good listener to, really give, productive information to the concerned clients. The listening
mm-hmm,
aspect is very, very important. Then we have, things like, honing certain skills, taking up certain responsibilities.
mm-hmm,
Like, this is what is going to happen. This is what, if they are in for it, and it is just like a marriage of two thoughts,
mm-hmm,
and we, scale it up to a different level after that. If that
mm-hmm,
person is in sync with what you're saying, then he goes ahead. If not, he backs out. So
mm-hmm,
then there is a thing like we have to be well equipped from the knowledge perspective,
mm-hmm,
because
mm-hmm,
knowledge is everywhere. With the internet, it's an ocean, it's a reservoir. So that you can always go for that. Then you have to, another big thing what I've noticed, which differentiates a person, a very good influencer from another, is the out of the box thinking. In certain places, you have to have a lateral thinking. In certain places, now out of the box. And this comes not from everyone. So, equipping a person is very, very important. Thinking out of the box. Then you have to, for that, you need to browse through, and you have to be a very voracious reader to, pick up spots and points which other people just miss out. You have to read between the lines. All these are very, very important. Then that your vision has to be well ahead. What others see, others don't see, you will have to see that, and you have to tell them well ahead that this is what is in, when we project it and all that. Then we have things like what we have to adapt, and that is relevant in this context now. We have to adapt to situations. That is what, certain people who are doing physical learning have come down to the virtual learning. Then they have come out with blended learning also. Even conferences all are in the hybrid mode. They have still not got into the full physical mode. They are all in the hybrid mode, and they're doing very well. A lot of conferences you can see, and I'm sure that you are also part of various conferences which are held on online, and that has to be ironed out depending on the situation and rules and stipulations from each country. Now it has become a wired world. Some people who are hardwired are the ones who are doing certain things which are stubbornly in certain areas, but that will not work. You have to, feasibility has become a big factor, and the feasibility can be assessed only if we weigh the options regarding the restrictions in the various countries, which put in norms to restrict activity, both in job and movement. International travel, everything came to a standstill when the COVID took off. Now, slowly they are opening up in certain countries. But ban is also coming in equal speed in various places. And it all depends on the type of variations and the type of varied COVID uh, symptoms coming up every day or the other. Today it may be in China, tomorrow it may be in Australia. Another thing might be happening in Africa. So we have to keep tab of all these things, and this is actually the job of the global influencer, where he is in constant touch. Thank God, the internet gives us enough and more of knowledge, but we have to keep in tab with by reaching out to people and finding out things. And for establishing in other countries, we need to have a very niche influencer in that country also, or a person who's saddled in that particular type of business, be it anything, so that they get a very good global footprint. So that is why this global, not about flitting across in countries. It is how do you influence him or her to get into things which they thought can really spiral their opportunities to a very different, in a skyrocketing. So that is what I have to add, if you ask me. And then there are things like, you should always, when a global influencer, another aspect is you have to gain the respect of the person also whom we are talking to. They should be, like mouthpieces for us for getting into other clients also. Referrals from them, word of mouth referrals would be very, very encouraging. If we have, a mutual respect, then I've asked for a lot of LinkedIn recommendations. That I take it as a self-evaluatory tool, which can really help me in honing my skills and also ironing out my weaknesses and sharpening my strengths. So that is these are things which are very very important for a person who is into global influencing. It is not just enhancing your connects. Connect is only one point. Influencing position is the main thing to
Yeah,
come
yeah.
in. I hope you
And
agree with.
yeah, I agree with you, because I think what we miss out sometime is a lot of people get stuck to the connection, and
Hmm.
they connect with a lot of people, and then the number is there, and they call themselves influencer. No, it's just the
It is not
first step.
influencer.
Yeah,
Correct.
you have to go to there's another step for influencing, and you have to
In fact, you have to delve deep into
basically
what they
be
want.
able to
Yeah.
use everything that
Yes, yes, yes. We are, it has to
you've
be
just.
need based. We can give
Mhm,
suggestions. If he doesn't come, he or she doesn't move with the suggestions, it is up to them. But it has to be
mhm,
primarily need based, because
mhm,
every
mhm,
he might give something, but which might not be viable in that country, or the
mhm,
person
mhm,
who's taking something will not have that that interest to even
mhm,
listen to it. But if we
mhm,
go with
mhm,
a need-based approach, it is more viable and more
mhm.
rewarding.
And I think there's a comment here from Ritika. I mean, when I was listening to what you just said, and she was talking about, she was mentioning, yeah, very well said. Deep understanding of the culture and the behavior is important, and that's where the needs that's actually come. From one culture to another, the needs are different, so we need to understand that. And
And
she's also.
you won't
Mm-hmm,
believe, there are influencers in each and every segment. Some are
mm-hmm,
very niche influencers, like for instance in beauty, fashion and style,
mm-hmm,
spa and salons, lifestyle. Then in things like photography, still
mm-hmm,
photography, film photography, then fitness influencers, where they influence people to buy equipment, then fashion influencers to buy what type of clothing you want. There are
mm-hmm,
place to place depending on the climatic conditions,
mm-hmm,
depending on even the type of arena where you're working on. This
mm-hmm,
is what we are doing. And
mm-hmm,
the influencers are many. And now, of late, there has been a
mm-hmm,
galaxy of people who are
mm-hmm,
YouTubers,
mm-hmm,
vloggers, bloggers, all have come in. And they are making mincemeat of the influencing.
mm-hmm, 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 mm-hmm.
So these are what is happening. These are things which are happening in a very large
and
scale.
and and we have yeah. And that's something again, that you just mentioned, is that there are influencer in any everywhere, in any industry, because what we used to see is a lot of influencer in the showbiz, or fashion, and just social media. But you can be an influencer in your industry, even if you're an engineer, even if you're in the construction industry. There is
Any,
room for you
I'm
to
sure
become an
you would have felt in
yeah.
oil and
Mm-hmm,
gas also. Oil and gas, everything,
mm-hmm,
everywhere where there's a need, only we go there. Oil and
mm-hmm,
gas, we can't float it everywhere. There are certain
mm-hmm,
niche countries where this is required, where they are
mm-hmm,
building a
mm-hmm,
refinery or something. There only there is a opportunity for you. So
mm-hmm,
I'm just giving one area. The similar
mm-hmm,
things happen in other areas also. What is happening
mm-hmm,
in the Gulf region in terms of fashion need not be there in a place like LA in
mm-hmm,
US. So it is totally different, and we have to
mm-hmm,
go by the
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
choice of
Yeah,
the people over there, other than going with something which is not there.
mm-hmm,
We have to see
mm-hmm.
opportunity and then go there. That's what I
Yeah,
feel. My
fantastic.
perception.
Mhm. So just wanted to highlight here a comment from Shilpi. Shilpi is just reaffirming what we all think. I think the same. You be a giver more than a taker, just how you are, Abraham. So that's a comment from Shilpi, and she's watching from LinkedIn. So
Because
we.
what happens
Mm-hmm,
here in this thing, the when you widen the ratio of the giving ratio,
mm-hmm,
automatically people start coming in because they are not paying much. But at the
mm-hmm,
same time, but in the same breath, we are going voluminous.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
That is where we enhance our thing, and
Mhm,
be truthful to what they are doing. What they want, we bring in authenticity, we bring in various other things, and they feel that this person is not only for, he's not a cutthroat, and he's going to give us enough substance in the long
mhm,
run. This
mhm,
is their
mhm,
perception that can change, but The first impression is the best impression, that sort of thing. It happens initially, but later on, if they want to switch, that also can happen. But we are making a dent by doing that. We are making a dent, and this is a footprint. I told you now, we have to be enhancing our knowledge day by day, and they should see us as a treasure trove of knowledge.
Fantastic. So we're gonna have our last break, and then we will be back with Abraham, and we was this time we're gonna talk more about the mission that you have, because I know that you have a big mission and a big purpose, and I know that it is gonna make a huge impact in the world. But let's have a break first, and we'll talk about that later.
Okay.
So this is Unshakable Faith, a book that our book that is coming out the 21st of June 2022, where we share how faith I brought us to the next level, and I brought greatness into our lives. So, I'll keep you updated on this one as we go along. But let's come back to our conversation with Abraham. And and I know that Abraham motto is always about making sure that ordinary people aspire to extraordinary, and I think that's been driving him, and that's been the focus of his connection, especially with mentee like myself. And Abraham, I want to ask you, what is your mission? What is your purpose and the legacy that you want to leave, in a way?
Actually, the thing is, I would like to enhance the number of people. This year, I've taken a New Year resolution of enhancing the number of people in various sectors, irrespective of caste, creed, all these things, gender, race, everything, to a different level. This is my aim. How much I'll be able to achieve my name, it's left to me. How much I can. I'm reaching out to people and seeing how much they can be put to a different level. The imbibing level is different from person to person. So that is what I would, I would love to see to it that I put a mark as 100, but it can be even 5% improvement to 50% improvement. That is up to them. How
Yeah.
they want to improve in the various skill sets, and what I can impart, I will impart. That is what I do when we connect with companies or even institutions where I do a lot of corporate interaction, and that is, and individuals also, from person to person, because their imbibing prowess varies from. That is one thing. And apart from that, in this, just to give you a small thing, I want to add a bit regarding the great influencers we have seen, like a Nelson Mandela or Martin Luther King or Mother Teresa. All had certain traits which like for instance, they were a perfect brand fit. Brand, and I'm talking of the nation. Then they were all ethical. They had certain ethical values. They were very strategic in their approach in getting things done and all that. And they were all accepted. Their approach towards mankind was in a very, very uh, you know professional way, and they are only good in them to tell people, more than having certain things kept to them. And every time they always thought of a growth mindset. So that is the thing.
Do you need some time for
Okay.
I think maybe give you some time to get some water, and we'll just have a very short video, and then we'll be back, because I really want you to, to share your purpose and your mission, and and especially the key message that you have for us. And I really don't want to miss that. So just to give you some time, we will have a video and a commercial, and then we'll be back pretty soon.
Tous les soirs, qui c'est madame en câlin, même si ça fait la peine. Elle est souffert, moi elle souffert,
It's actually the result of a long journey in the oil and gas industry, working worldwide. And so I've been in this industry for 20 years. And like Deborah was saying, there's a big significance in the 20 years, because I got in this industry because I lost my dad. And at some point I just had to stop going to school. I had my bachelor. I stopped because I had to find a job, and then I got into the industry. But I managed to discover the industry and really like it. So this book is really represent a lot for me. I dedicated it to my dad, actually, and also really putting together all that I've learned working in the industry as well. So through this journey, what I've really realized is that when you really want something, you have to go and get it. And going and get it doesn't mean just sit down, have the idea. It's also just put a plan, implement it. To start going and inform the young generation that there are opportunities, and they should actually try to embrace some of those technical career in the oil and gas industry. And that's something that needs still to be done and strategized and start really at a very young age, because the industry is growing in Africa, so we will need the workforce, and it's So we are back. We are back with Abraham, and we really want, your last word and your nuggets for, before we leave the platform. I didn't want to miss that. And please, what is, the last word that you want to leave to the audience today, building on what, we're talking early, talking to us earlier. And I think you have to unmute yourself because you've been, I think I muted you at some point. Still muted.
It's now clear.
Okay, all right. Yeah.
It is now the global influencing as a market is growing at a percentage of almost 32% right now, even with all this downfall and all that. But the thing is, it is going to spiral from a 6 billion perspective to somewhere around 25 billion by 2025. This is what has been projected. And we would be like a catalyst for that, to cultivate a lot of people across the globe. So we would be there, part and parcel of it, to make it to, the type of figures what has been projected. And we'll go full steam ahead in to make that a reality.
Fantastic. And before we leave, obviously there's been a lot shared. I hope the audience, I know that the audience gain a lot from you, but I know how much more you can share. And that's why, how do people get in contact with you if they want to continue the conversation or connect with you, and understand a little bit more what you do and how you can help them, or how you can explain to them
You
a
can
little bit
always
more in detail.
share my email ID and
Mm-hmm.
number, where they can always connect with me, and they can connect with me with my most influential channel, that is the LinkedIn. They can always connect.
Okay.
I'll be
Okay.
more than
So
happy to help them. I'll
fantastic.
be more
So
than happy.
So make sure you connect with Abraham on LinkedIn, and and if you really want to follow up, please connect with me as well. You can directly connect with me, and then I will connect you to
Correct.
Abraham, and make sure you get the knowledge and the wisdom of Abraham, because I think in 1 hour it's just not possible. So I encourage you to really learn more from him. And as he said, his mission is to influence and help the common people like us to do extraordinary things. And this year he wants to influence hundreds. So you might be one of the hundred, and make sure you connect with him, and you see the value that it's going to bring into your life. So that's the end of this episode of the Greatness Engineering Hour show. And I thank those who been able to watch the show live, but for those who are going to get the replay, please make sure you comment and put your questions, on in in the different comment box and the different platform. We are all over the social media. We are on Facebook. We are on LinkedIn. We are on Twitter, and we are on YouTube as well. So make sure you put your questions and also maybe contact where we can get back to you. So that's all for today. I don't know if Abraham. I want to thank Abraham for his time, his precious time to be here and to share his knowledge, his wisdom, and really inspire us in the process. I don't know if there's something else that you want
No, basically it is
to add to a powerful thing that
I
you
know.
yeah
As on
that
a
you share with us.
winding note, I've mentioned what is our theme. Giver, more of a giver than a taker. That has to be on the top priority list, which can take you to different levels automatically with your inherent passion to go about it with all the requisites which I had mentioned. I hope it
Fantastic.
was. So that is
So
what I have
as yeah,
on a
so we're
winding note.
gonna yeah, so we're gonna leave on that note. So be more of a and you know that it's gonna propel you to another level. And obviously there are also what other strategies and tools and thing that Abraham has shared, but that's the most powerful one that we want to leave you with, so that you can go to the next level of your greatness, because that's what the show is trying to do for you. This show is for you, and hopefully it's going to help you to to unleash, not go to the next level and add to the knowledge that you already have. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
I will be back for another episode of the Greatness Engineering Hour show on Monday. And Monday will be focused on Unshakable Faith. So the book, I'm going to have one of the co-author of the Unshakable book anthology that is coming up in June. So stay tuned and join us because you will learn again, and I know that you're going to be inspired again with another episode of the Greatness Engineering Hour show. So
Thank you very much.
all have a great week, and I expect that you'll join me again on Monday. Thank you very much, Abraham, and for your time again. Thanks. Bye.
Thanks.